My name is Jack Green. I'm Garwa Guranji man from Borroloola, Barkly region, and I also was a cultural advisor and senior elder of Borroloola.
Hi, my name is Dawson Dodd. I'm Nyanyua, I'm Guranji. I represent Makada Mon and also the Bear Money Dreaming.
Hi, my name is Jackie Green. I am a young Guranji Garawa woman. I'm here to represent my mother. Her country is MacArthur River Mining.
So he's fairly young. We're trying to teach her to pick it up, this thing. But actually his mother and his grandfather, it's the proper owner of the country, so is Dawson. So he comes in from his mother's side. Anything got to do with his mother stuff, that's his role there. But his brother have role to the grandfather or father, like that. They sort of look after that bit, yeah. But Jackie been working with us a long time because we got Wanyi Garwa Ranger in Nicholson River and Robinson. So Garwa Ranger, and then you get Wanyi Ranger. So he fits in the Boss Ranger because of me and his cousin. And he's been getting a fair bit of experience there, and the knowledge what he picks up there, he will take it across with Dawson Mob, working with Dawson Mob on looking after country there, sacred sites, looking after, what happened there, weeds, fire. That'll be part of his experience as well. So he'd grow up with that knowledge and country, how to talk to country, how to get that feeling of the country, to work with the country, yeah.
And I'm David Trigger, an anthropologist, connected a couple of universities, but worked in the Gulf country, straddling the Queensland Northern Territory border, particularly between Burketown and Borroloola for many years.
With David, I first met him, I was a field officer at our Northern Land Council at the time, and we worked together on Robinson River land claims and a bit on Nicholson River land claim as well. That's where I met Ansel there.
We're talking about the late 1970s when I first got a job as a site recorder to go and record sites of significance in the Gulf country. In those days, the Queensland government opposed land rights, which was happening from the mid-1970s in the Northern Territory. In the late 70s through the 80s, especially, and into the 90s, like other anthropologists, I was engaged by the Northern Land Council in the Northern Territory to do field work.
Well, my role was supposed to make sure we find the right TO for that area, so we speak with the right person, and especially a bit hard, and sometimes because a TO doesn't come from there, you have to get someone that's been working there so long, so he'd put in an application on behalf of the rest of the family that lives there. It's about compensation, because when we first started off, we couldn't do nothing. The company was government just sort of ignore Aboriginal people. And they'd come to a stage where they have to talk to us now. So we want to, that's why we got the Northern Land Council to run the compensation claim over MacArthur regarding all the damage and everything, what's been happening in the past. The big damage, there's a big hole in the ground. And on, like the way where the hole is, it was on sacred site of his father's country and Dawson. They're all connected in that area. And not only that, they put the waste dump very close to the sacred site as well. And, it just, we can't just go in there whenever we want to. We had to get approval from the company, and they'll meet us at the gate or something, and they'll take us around in the bus, It sort of damaged the whole country. It was very important to Aboriginal people on that country. They used to use it to hunt and things like that. fish there, you can't go near that country. How I connected there, because um, I have close family in that area, and I'm married to one of the TOs from that area, and also close relation with Aboriginal way, close relation with Dawson Dodd. And because my knowledge and experience of the area, that's why they keep wanting me to talk behalf of everyone most of the time.
Well, the barramundi dreaming and the snake just and the open cut, that's we're not too far each other. So yeah, so I sit on Jungai for them and they sit on Jungai for me, the Davis move. And also Jack, Jack, he's one of the eldest we got left here in back in Borula, and he's the only one that all the old people always ask him about, where he learned from, and that's the only old fellow we got left to listen to him and what he say, and that Dreaming side and Songline and who's the main mob for the area. If I'm on my side of the area on the Barramundi side, I'm gonna have to get the Davies mob, so that they're the policemen, so they're the close Jungai one for me. So if you go back into the pit part area, so where the snakes are, that's I can sit on Jungai one for that little area.
My mother, she's a TO for MacArthur River Mine, and my bush name is Gaguna. I am the policeman for my mother, Jungai.
That Mingering is the owner of that thing. That Jungai is like a placement to that totem, whatever it is. So they work both sides. The TO, he tells the Jungai what to do. He's like a working man for him to move things around. It's just sacred site there. That's his role, yeah. It'll be pretty difficult as it starts, because when you come to a native title claims, everyone that's born there, been working there for certain times, well, they the native title class them as a person from that area. That's include the TOs from that area. So we usually work around it, Aboriginal people, and answer works around it, how we all come together, sort of thing, yeah. The TO was still alive at the time when they first came in, and they did mention they was going to do an open cut at the time. The TO itself and a lot of people from each clan group wasn't really happy for where things how was going to go ahead, but we couldn't stop them anyway. They just sort of, that's it, we're going to put a hole down here, that's it, Well, I'm going back a while, but the old senior people used to be there. They cried when they see that thing happen. And we carry the same experience from that time, and we still heard today what we see. We have to negotiate with them at the moment, because of that, all that damage in that country. I was talking about water at that time, but the river, it's like water runs through it, and it's just same as any human being today. It's like a blood pumping through our body, through our heart, and all that sort of thing. That's what I'm talking about, the water. But the river itself, that's where the old rainbow laid across there, yeah. A lot of people passed away that connected to that area. But it's sort of still in us, We know that was part of that old rainbow, made that river. So and when they done the diversion, we went against that one too, but then they just sort of override us the next day. We won it, and then we lost it the next day, sort of thing.
There's probably two things that need to be addressed. One is, as Jack was saying, who are the right people for that country? What's the basis of their traditional connection to the country? And then the second big issue in compensation is, well, if you're looking at these developments that have happened on the country, in this case, a big open-cut mine, have there been any impacts on people's connections to country, to their native title rights? In this case, it's Gurindji country, that's the name of the country where the MacArthur River mine is, and also Yanyuwa country, which is on the coast where there's a port that has been built to receive the ore body. So the role of the anthropologist is to assist the court as an independent expert. Yeah, so that's the job of the anthropologist. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it is a very rewarding job in my experience, especially to sort of assist and address the people who engage the services of the researcher. Ideally, the anthropologist brings knowledge of literature that has been written about traditional land tenure in the case of Indigenous Australia. And, you know, even the few words that are getting used here might have been indicating that this is a complicated, complex set of connections to country. When lawyers or judges or other whitefellas might ask people a question and the answers that comes back uses words and phrases and concepts from another language and another culture, the job of the anthropologist is to help to assist translate. Again, it might sound like, you know, there might be some judges who'd say, I don't need any help. I can just listen to the witnesses who are the claimants, and the evidence of the claimants is central. But through the whole history of land rights, land claims, and now native title, it can be essential to have assistance translating the system of land tenure for whitefellas who have no idea. Well, maybe one way of saying it, I think me and Dawson sat down to have that talk when I was doing the research, didn't we? Yeah. Was that in Pine Creek?
Yeah, that was in Pine Creek when we first met. With Dad was there too as well.
Yeah, big mob of people there, family, other people connected to that MacArthur River country. And we talked for a couple of days. I used an audio recorder to help preserve the information that came from the people. And we, first of all, I would be saying, okay, well, so-and-so, you know, okay, talking to this bloke here, how are you connected to that country that's at the centre of this claim? And I think, well, Dawson was just saying before, it's connected to one part of the country through his father, Barramundi, right?
And grandfather.
And grandfather, like Gangu, father's father,
right.
Through a patri affiliation, a patri line. But connected to nearby dreamings, actually right at the centre of the mine pit and all that, which is rainbow dreaming, through another way as Jungai. And we had that talk. So I had to try and get clear, everybody who was there, what's the system of connection that your mob have, and people had different connections through different family members and through their different, what's called skin connections to country. And then the second conversation I had was to try and ask these hard questions, which I think lawyers and anthropologists and the courts and everybody are only just getting used to at this point about, well, what are we compensating for here? So what's happened? So my questions on that day, I think, I was saying, well, what's the story? You know, in a very, trying to be open-ended radio. So Gurindji people have got traditional connections and country in that area. There's dreamings we know about. There's skin connections. So then this big mine has been built. Well, what's happened? Has it been, have there been good parts to the mine? Have there been bad parts to the mine, especially in relation to the country? What do people think? What's been your feelings about what's happened? And then, of course, if you take the rerouting of the 5.5 kilometres of the MacArthur River, that talk comes out from people about their feelings about what's happened. Going back to that conversation we had in Pine Creek, people started to talk about, they used words like shame, didn't they?
Yeah, like no good bingy.
Yeah, they said no good bingy, which is, bingy is just a word for stomach, feeling bad in the stomach. And so I started to talk about that with people. What do you mean? You know, oh, well, and then they explained a feeling of feeling a bit sick, ashamed in the face of the dreamings and what's happened there, and other concepts, embarrassment, and I would say, in using English words, I was looking for English words to try and translate the concepts and the terms from the Gurindji language which were being told to me. So the word for shame, mangru, in it? Yeah. So it took me half a day to work out what that word meant. And if Dawson mob went to court and talked about mangru without any help from the translator or anthropologist, or you know, that would be a bit difficult for the judge. It was important for the judge to understand the concept of shame and bad feeling. You know, in English, well, the fancy kind of word about bodily feelings is a sort of a somatic sense of inside the body, of a feeling of watching this huge development and what it's meant for the spiritual features of the country.
Well, that's what we call manguru. That fellow should be shamed to damage that thing, because we feel in our spirit that thing been damaged. You know what I mean? It's like you pick up a rock and chuck it away from there or something like that. But that's what when we talk ourselves, we say that word, you know. You should have manguru from that country when you've been damaged. You know, you say, if I go to their country, they will like it. I should have pulled back a bit, something like that, yeah.
Another word I say, no good bingy was when you feel no good about your own country and that, you know. Yeah, same way we tell them, you know, it's the way they move the river and it's the real, you know, make your heart no good, you're no good bingy and.
It's pretty hard for someone else. You got to be anthro to listen properly. You know what I mean? Like I can say that to anyone, they wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. But to anthro, they'll pull up and say, "Oh, you know, what do you mean about that?" Then you'll say, "Oh, my belly. You know, I feel no good in my belly." So regarding that matter here.
Well, for my thing, they already damaged the snake, and the barramundi is still sitting there, and you got the big waste dump just next door to him. Another thing we just worrying about, if the waste dump gonna fall, or that there's a lot of artifact was there, so we went there, collected all, or not collected them, but we found big mob. But then again, if the money mean to us, we want to get our country back, like build a house at where I'm Goodbally, 8 Mile, just upriver from there. That's my grandfather country. And also the Day mob. Because me and John was talking about that when we done our artifacts out there a couple of months, about a month ago anyway, but we, you know, we need to get our place back. We go back to a country, you know.
the country is very important for Aboriginal people because there's a songline, there's story on it, there's a hunting ground, you know, place where we go to. It's sort of important, the country is. But at the same time, the country being already damaged, you know, it's all gone, but still in our feeling, we're still worried about the country. We still talk about it. You know, it's been gone for ages. Older people used to talk to us, and now we're taking that roles on now. We've got younger people coming in. They'll carry that story. Like compensation, it's something to get more land back, I think, you know. And there will be maybe a bit of money as well. But that feeling, what's happened there, it still stay there with us. We'll be still hurt, you know. Doesn't matter what. Whether we get the compensation, whether we get the money, but the feeling will be still there.
I feel no good for my country, for my mom country. Worrying, hate us. We want our country back.